Evening, my audience. I'm going to take this video inside. Hello. So, don't mind the noise. People just working on the house in the basement. Here's some noise. Try to ignore that. So, just want to shut up. Okay. Hello, I'm reviewing a movie I told you guys I was boycotting and not seeing, and cheering on before it came out. James Gunn's Superman movie looked like absolute shit without content. Was in the trailer of promotional for the film. That was my promotional trailer. The movie in content's a lot better. With the clips. This is, probably going to upset a lot of DC fans and Marvel fans that are also our critics online, like Angry Joe, that are so far up their own asses with their opinions on dumb shit. Not realize being up their ass about their opinions is stupid on itself. But I think this is my favorite James Gunn movies and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Written by him. This is my favorite script he's written since Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed from 2004. Before that, it was Scooby-Doo 2002, the first one. Those are my favorite two Scooby-Doo movies. Those are my favorite two James Gunn movies I've seen him ever worked on. What's his name attached to the project they wrote in the screenplay for final script on both 1 and 2. This Superman movie is even better than the first two Scooby-Doo movies. My favorite James Gunn project. And I was worried it was going to be a letdown. Like, I just thought it was going to be a bunch of facts and jokes. Like, and with little rhyme and reason to be in the fucking premise. I just thought it was going to be random shit jokes of shit into the random fucking movie. What I thought it was one of those movies that was going to have random stuff in, but without any rhyme and reason to other than for juvenile humor with fart jokes and dick jokes and sperm jokes that Gunn's known for doing multiple times. He pulled 2 fart jokes for Scooby movies. Twice. In separate Scooby movies. 1 and 2, that fart joke. That became a gimmick for a live-action Scooby-Doo movie for a while. And the monsters... the one after Mystery Begins TV animated movie of Scooby-Doo... had a fart joke in it also, because Gunn did it, and he planted everyone else's, and doing a fart joke in every other Scooby-Doo became a gimmick for a while in live action. There are 3 Scooby-Doo movies in live action, and 1 Scooby-Doo doesn't have a fart joke in it, done by Scooby. So I was expecting a fat joke from Superman cutting the cheese or Lois Lane in this movie. Because that's what he did with Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. And had them having a farting contest. Literally. In the plot of the first Scooby-Doo movie. 2002 flick. that was stupid to shoot that joke. I'm just gonna say that. But so I'm glad that none of the stupid, retarded writing made its way to Gunn's Superman flick. I'm glad he dialed it back with the juvenile humor for his Superman movie, for the Superman character. He dialed it back with the juvenile, inappropriate, edgelord humor he normally goes for all of his movies that he writes and directs, whatever he's mainly writes into scripts. So, you know, if you work on the script, he writes that into his movies. Like, normally shit like that. But no sperm jokes, no dick jokes, no fart jokes, no poop innuendo jokes, like Harley Quinn having diarrhea and taking forever to take on the suicide mission with the premise of the Suicide Squad movie was in James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie titled The Suicide Squad from 2021 flick. Remember we had the run joke about Holly taking the runs? She said she said sorry for taking me forever. I really had to go number 2, she says. Then it was taking forever. Everyone's coming down her leg. Why it was taking her long? Where is fuck is she? And you know, at this point, she explained it out loud to like Suicide Squad what she was doing. She was taking forever going number 2. So that means she had the runs, I guess. Thanks, Gunn, for that joke. Planting that in my head about Margot Robbie taking a shit in the Suicide Squad. Thank you, you dumb moron, for writing that into the script. And killing off one of the better characters of your Suicide Squad for a laugh. You know, Polka Dot Man. He was one of the best characters you made for that movie. And you killed him off for shock value, for like laughs. When Star Wars like collapsed it comedically on him. And killed Polka Dot Man just for shits and giggles. What the fuck is wrong with this moron? Gunn is not an intelligent filmmaker or a person, I think. Is what I thought. So I realized that he's just a lazy asshole majority of the time. Because he can do good movies like Superman and I appreciate this movie, Superman movie, when whole team had a more tame back with the juvenile and inappropriate edgelord humor that Gunn normally likes to go for. This movie kind of dialed it down a bit with the humor. It's not really there. It's not as there as it is often for Gunn's movie, where it sticks out like a sore thumb. Even when the Scooby-Doo movies, it sticks out. Both of them. And his Guardians movies. And his Suicide Squad movies he read and directed. This movie he's read and directed. I think this is his best comic movie he's ever worked on was His Name. By DC or by Marvel. Ever in his career. This is his best movie of his career. He worked on His Name. Since the Scooby-Doo 2 movie he worked on. And this is the best superhero movie he ever worked on. And yes, I know he worked on that movie called Super Boss, where it's where the guy plays Dwight from The Office, plays a superhero. But personally, I didn't think that movie was that great. I thought it was overrated and overloved on people on the internet. You know, obnoxious, dumb movie critics. They're their asses. With their egos on their opinions of movies. I'm not really Because I can change my mind on movies sometimes. Like, I thought I was going to hate this movie. I was actually expecting to hate this movie going in, but I was surprisingly very surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. I give it a 10 out of 10. It was one of those movies I was expecting to be a 6 or 8 out of 10 at best, but not a 10 out of 10 even. But I was open-minded to it. If I wanted to be a 10 out of 10, even though I didn't think it could ever be one. Before I saw it, that's what I was surprised by. It's a 10 out of 10 like his Scooby-Doo movies that James Gunn written. He also directed this movie, James Gunn, and produced this. One of the producers of this movie here. So, this is his best work of his career. Ever. Highlight of his career. For his film projects he's worked on. Shows and movies. I think this is the best thing he's worked on with this project named Death to It. I give it a 10 out of 10. As a Superman fan, I loved it. I'm not really a fan of James Gunn, in case you couldn't tell. But, I'm a fan of Superman. He's my third favorite DC character of all time. My first favorite DC character is Batman. My second favorite is Dick Grayson, known as Robin, the original, also known as Nightwing. And my third favorite is Superman, and my fourth favorite is Harley Quinn. For my fourth favorite DC character of all time. And I love Margot Robbie's Patrol and Harley Quinn. By the way. Just want to say that. And I like this Superman take on Superman and Clark. And designing it was with the relationship of evolve with Lois and Superman and Clark, and knowing that they're both the same person. And I thought it was all, well, tightly paced together, you know? The whole movie was nicely paced together, even though it does throw you just in the story when Superman's already nerfed. Powered because he went up against a villain that's stronger than him when he was at 100%. He got beaten. Lost his first fight. Off-screen happened. It's explained in the scrolls of the opening movie. So we see a bloody Superman beaten, and Kryptos comes to beat him more and play with him. They'll take him to the Solitude, the Fortress of Solitude, you know, his home. And that's where he's recovers a bit and from the sunlight, and then go head back to battle, even though he's only at 83% strength worn by the robot he needs to recover. But he's just going half cock into the battle, but he's not even at full strength yet, because he's needing to get back to the prey, he says, in the Metropolis. And so so he stays nerfed throughout the entire 3-act structure of the movie at 83% strength. And that's probably why he gets his ass handed to him a lot. I didn't know that based off other YouTube critics I follow along. I follow lots of them. But people who like this movie and hate this movie never mention it's because he is nerfed and is a weaker version of himself than he's normally within the plot of Superman by James Gunn script. And we never see him at 100% Superman strength. It just throws us in the story when he's at 83% Superman strength. For not being at full strength with his superpowers and lifting and stuff. He's not that strong yet. So the whole movie, he's like he is nerfed. But it's for a reason, because he took the shit beaten out of him. And he hasn't recovered and doesn't make a full recovery. And then he gets more beaten at the end of the movie because he gets exposed to kryptonite poisoning. And then he has to make a sooner, things needed sooner to Metropolis because he can't fully recover. He didn't fully recover yet in time because he's needed by Mr. Terrific sooner than later to make a full recovery. So, that's why when we see him probably in the Fortress Soldier after his cousin Supergirl crash lands drunk into the Fortress of Solitude to pick up her dog and calls Superman a bitch and thanks him. We see Superman getting sunlight and listening to music and watching the footage of his parents, his Earth parents, and this time instead of his alien parents, because we find out that his alien parents on the premise are very unlikable people on the premise of Gunverse. And shitty people. And so, played by Bradley Cooper, who plays Jor-El, who sends Superman to enslave and inherit many, and make a harem, and enslave people and do horrible things to people on Earth. And yeah, it was kind of disturbing. Like, it's kind of disturbing, of a message, and the plot of the movie kind of has its played from Superman's point of view when the whole mess is relieved and played in content of the plot of the movie is from Superman's point of view when he's just looking at it on some civilian's phone that hands him his phone to look at the message of his parents. The other half he's seen it before. The other half he didn't see before. Because a good chunk of it was damaged on the flight on the trip to Earth from Krypton. In Gunji version of Superman. So that's a little different from the mythos and the comics or other Superman media that I've gone for big screen representation on the big screen. I thought it was going to bother me more than I was less than I was I thought it was going to bother me more, but it's bothering less than I was expecting to. But it did bother some people on the internet here. I might understand this because it is like an adaptation of an iconic character, and it's like iconic metal, and you got change and stuff. But I mean, it worked for the story, okay? I thought this worked for this version of Superman, but I wouldn't make this the norm. Like, I wouldn't make every Superman like this. Make that the norm, because let me retract my words. Stumbling over my words now. And I'm thirsty, I realize. Because I'm stumbling over my words. My mouth's dry a little. Hang on. Gotta pause it. Hello. I had a drink. Okay, now I remember what I was trying to say before I stumbled over my words. So yeah, this changes the mythology of the comics a bit with Superman's alien parents, biological from Krypton, a bit. But I didn't mind with the contents of the story because, you know, the actor that plays Pa Kent is such a good Pa Kent, and he really has a really beautiful heart-to-heart conversation with Clark after his spirit's been broken about the truth about his Krypton parents from Krypton within the footage on the plot of the Superman movie, the new one, by Gunn. So that's what happens. And it's a beautiful, beautiful heart-to-heart conversation that Pa Kent has with Clark. And it ends with Clark hugging his paw. And it's very cute of a moment. I really love this Clark. I think this is my favorite, Okay, I'm going to say something very controversial, but I think this is my favorite on-screen Clark Kent. But my favorite on-screen Superman is definitely Henry Cavill from the Snyderverse. On the big screen. So this is my two favorite, this is my second favorite Superman next to Man of Steel. Of all time, for a standalone Superman movie. I consider Batman vs Superman more of a crossover movie than a Superman sequel. But this, they call the Justice Game these characters. The group of the Justice Game isn't in as much as the movie as I thought they were going to be. They're more like small side characters in the movie and less like cameos, but they're not the main protagonists. They never struck me as the main anchoring of the driving force of the movie premise of that's revolved around Superman. And what I liked about this movie, and also if I found interesting in the movie, this goes out of its way to develop Clark Kent persona more than the Superman persona. Now, I think that can be good, but I also think that it can be, work for what it was. I think that's good and all, but I think majority of fans are going to want both Clark Kent and Superman as much developed in the movie persona. You know, mainstream audience. And that's probably why, for mainstream audience, this movie didn't do as well as... Well, I hear this movie flopped in theaters and is lucky to make a... It just didn't do well. It didn't do well even, I had to, it didn't do well in theaters. I forget how bad it lost money or didn't broke even. So, that's not good for the movie. So I don't think the Superman 2's fallout's going to happen with this movie. But, I don't know what's going to happen with the fate of Warner Bros. Of DC creating universe with the Superman, or I don't know if they're going back to Snyderverse, going to make a sequel to Superman next. I don't know. I don't think the Batman's going to work if Gunn's writing Batman, because what? Batman is generally a more serious character than it always has been than Superman. Unless you're counting Silver Age Batman. Which I'm starting to wonder maybe he will take inspiration from that era. The one that almost bankrupted the Batman character name and got him canceled in comics. Almost. It wasn't until Golden Age Batman replaced Silver Age Batman, the story line of comic media streamline, where entering the Bronze Age, Batman started selling better. And so yeah, and I feel I brought this up. Superman I'm talking about. So, this Superman's definitely taking inspiration from Silver Age Superman as, similar how Christopher Reeve was playing Superman, was in the first two Superman movies. And then we focus on him. In a way, this movie feels like a Christopher Reeve Superman 3. If Superman 3 focused on Superman. In terms of tone, And what I'm trying to say is Gunn Superman movie feels like a third conclusion to unfinished Superman saga that just waited to skip to the end. Couldn't wait to skip the end. How it all plays out in the third act. It plays like a third movie. By the third act. The whole movie is 2 hours and 9 minutes long. So it's pretty standard for a comic book movie now these days. In runtime of a movie. So it's not that long, okay? But it's just a little over 2 hours. Only by 9 minutes, so not that long. Compared to movies in general you watch now these days that come out. That's standard. So within that time, if this whole movie feels like a trilogy in one movie story, how it plays out. A Superman trilogy by James Gunn. So it feels like he didn't. So it kind of feels like one of those movies where he accidentally played all of his cards, where he doesn't have any plans for a sequel or a third one. Why do I feel like he might have did that? This is a guess, though, on my part. Don't know. I haven't seen special features of this movie, really, a whole lot. They haven't come out a whole lot yet on the internet, but, I don't own the physical copy. I don't know if it's any on physical copy, special features, but I want to own the physical Blu-ray of this movie, because I own the Scooby-Doo movies. I love those movies, and I love this movie more than the first two Scooby-Doo movies, so I give it a 10 out of 10. The new Superman 2025 movie by James Gunn, written by and directed and produced by James Gunn. This is now one of the CEOs of DC Studios. So I give this James Gunn Superman movie a 10 out of 10. I was surprised how much I love this movie, actually. I like Man of Steel a little bit more, but this is my second favorite Superman movie of all time. My third favorite Superman movie is Superman Returns. My favorite Superman movie of all time, my third favorite. It goes Man of Steel, this Superman movie that's from the Gunn universe, and my third favorite Superman movies is Superman Returns 2006. And my fourth favorite Superman movie is Superman 2, Richard Donner cut. And for the theatrical cut, I like the theatrical just as much as the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. So that's my fifth favorite Superman movie. Fifth and fourth favorite Superman movie, you can say Superman 2 is, by Christopher Reeves. Both cuts of the movie is my fifth and fourth favorite Superman movies of all time. I like Superman 1 less than Superman 2. Superman 2's best and Superman 1's second best was the Christopher Reeves cut, and the third best is Superman 3, and the weakest is Superman 4, Quest for Peace. You know that because that's the only one that doesn't just give up with the number, but has a title at the end of the number, trying to sound cool, thinking that modernizing title is like a way to go. What I was saying, fuck. I just fucking fried my brain so much in my head. Thinking. Talking out loud. Fuck, what was I gonna say? I gotta take a minute, pause. That's why I give Superman movie by James Gunn a 10 out of 10. My second favorite Superman movie next to Man of Steel is number 1. I give this a 10 out of 10. I love this movie more than the first two Scooby-Doo movies by James Gunn. This is his masterpiece of all time of his career. I highly recommend this movie. If there's one James Gunn you guys see, it's this one. Superman is awesome. Very punk rock awesome. I love this version of Clark. That puts on, and he does a good Superman also. But he's written to be more of a Clark Kent than Superman, the plot of the movie, of Gunverse. You know, because, this Superman's kind of like has a bit of a dorky persona. A nerdy persona like Clark. So he's like more of a, like, has common more with this Clark persona than any other Superman persona from on screen. Like, this is like, I like this movie a lot. Like, you know how Christopher Reeve Superman was Superman and Clark? Well, this Superman's like not really, has a good Superman persona and a good Clark persona, but most of the movie revolve him being Clark, and with the plot of the movie, not like not much as the Superman plot, Superman character half. I think it's because, like, you know, because he is Nerf in the movie, he doesn't always feel 100% like a authentic Superman in the movie, because he is Nerf in the plot of the movie to 83%, but we see him recovering in sunlight at the Fortress of Souls after his cousin drops by drunk and leaves to pick up her dog. Krypto is not Superman's dog in this movie. Spoiler alert, is his cousin's. Okay? I like Krypto more than I was expecting. I was expecting to hate that fucking dog going in. I thought he was one of the people like kill from the movie. Hate that dog, I was expecting to. But I actually like Krypto even. I was surprised. I liked even everyone in the Justice Gang and everyone, and even have Morpho, and that joins the Justice Gang, everyone. I surprised how much I like these characters in the movie. I wonder how much of this movie was cut by the studios. Was Gunn forced to cut. Because this movie feels like, at some points in the movie, it feels like it starts to jump around points where we miss the story. Like, there's the opening of the movie, then there's the part where Lois and Clark know each other, who they really are, and dating, and I feel like I missed that. But it just throws you in their relationship, and then it throws you at the end to the end, where he's recovering at the Fortress of Solitude and gain some sunlight break and try and get more to 100% of Superman's strength. And because the whole movie's been 83% Superman's strength of his normal strengths. He's down the whole movie and gets weaker once he gets exposed to kryptonite poisoning due to Memo's powers, and then tries to save him by creating some like a sunlight to shrink to Superman, and it didn't help fully, so it's still in the system, so he's a little weak in the whole movie, and then he takes more of a beating by Ultraman who's being completely controlled like a PlayStation, like a video game character by Lex Luthor, by giving him controls and telling him what to do through cameras. This was the main puppet master of the movie, the villain behind everything. All of events and everything, blah blah blah, to kill Superman. Motivation. He just hates Superman because he's losing money with LessCorp. Because Superman's putting them under. It's explained briefly in the movie, but not enough to the normal audience to digest and absorb. Because everything just has like this rapid fire pacing going around the movie. Like a shot of adrenaline, it feels like, throughout the entire movie. Every movie shot uses this close-up wide angle. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't always work. But it got better the more you watched it. Maybe that's because my eyes adjust, or maybe that's because it works sometimes it doesn't work in the beginning. First 15 minutes was action happening before he gets to the Daily Planet. And then it gets better with directing and action and stuff like that. But I just didn't know. Maybe it's because I took a while for my eyes to visually get used to it, or maybe it's because I seen this movie only one time. I don't want to see this again because I wasn't sure. Maybe it's because I took a while to get used to it, but I got better used to it as the longer I watched the movie. Was the directing odd? It's weirdly directed with the movie. It has a weird directing style. I don't think it's the norm of how you direct flight scenes with directing, and especially Superman flight scenes with Superman flying. But it takes a while to get used to, okay? I think it took me a bit, for the first 15 minutes I got used to it, the directing. It took me like 15 minutes to get used to it. So yeah, that's why I give James Gunn's Superman a 10 out of 10 from 2025, this year released. 10 out of 10 I give this. I recommend this movie. Don't have to see this if you guys don't really want to. I just know I'm recommending it to you guys. And subscribe, like my video. Support my channel, please, by liking and subscribing this video. Goodbye. My name's Jake Allen Graham, my audience. My newcomers. And I forgot to introduce myself beginning early on. Video. Okay, bye.